Welcome back, y'all. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and I'm your host, Bull. Today, I want to talk about Cam Camper, who is another transfer portal wide receiver and a potential target of our Tennessee Volunteers. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. All right, so this is Cam Camper's profile from ESPN. As y'all can see, he is a senior. Some of y'all might be wondering, how was he able to transfer out from Boise State whenever they got done playing football about a month ago? Well, he is a graduate, so graduates can transfer pretty much whenever they want to. But whenever you're looking at his stats from this past season, 58 catches for 903 yards, 4 touchdowns, 15.6 yards per catch. That all looks very good. Obviously, also playing Power 4 football because straight out of high school, he did go to Indiana. Now, in high school, he was a 3-star with most sites, except for rivals who had him as a 4-star and 6'3", about 200 pounds from Texas. You know that they play great football down in Texas, but he's been very productive every season that he's played college football. I think Tennessee wants to go out and get a veteran. For me, I would lean more towards a player on the outside. I know everyone wants that slot receiver, but I think that we're fine there because you can mix and match and put different bodies at that position whenever you need to. But the outside, a veteran outside, a wide receiver, for me, probably makes the most sense. And now let's dive a little bit deeper into Cam Camper's stats. These will be from Pro Football Focus. They have him listed at 6'3", 197 pounds. So whether he's 197 or 203, that's not a huge difference to me because he's very close to 200 pounds. Actually, his size profile and the way that he plays reminds me a lot of Cedric Tillman. I think that that's exactly what Nico needs in his second season as our starter, final season with our team, to have a player that can go up, get those 50-50 balls, and make those tougher catches. That's exactly who Cam Camper is. So let's take a look at some of these deeper stats. Number one, he caught 60 of the 92 targets that he got last season at Boise State. That's good for 65.2%. And then he caught 10 out of 17 contested passes. This is what we're just talking about with the 50-50 types of balls. If you're over 50% to me, that means that you're doing a very good job. So he's actually at 58.8% last season. And some of those passes that Pro Football Focus has, as contested passes, they weren't very catchable. So I'm not faulting him for not catching some of those balls. Let's come on down to the last category, which are the passes that he caught that were catchable. He's at 88.2%. He had 6 drops on the season. The 6 drops doesn't look great, but still very close to 90%. That is slightly better than what we saw with Chris Brazzell in a previous stream that we did about a week ago. So I love his profile from all of these, deeper stats and things like that. But let's go ahead and jump into the film room. All right, so these are just a few clips that I put together of Cam Camper from last season with Boise State. I wanted to show y'all how he looked versus Oregon, versus Penn State, and pretty much everyone else. The first thing that jumps off the film to me is he has really good size. He knows how to use his body well, and he runs very good routes. So he understands how to use his leverage, whether that's to get inside routes or outside routes if he wants to go vertical. Everything that he does starts off looking vertical. So even with the underneath stuff, he will be able to get some separation from any sort of a coverage. But I think especially in man, this is a place that you would love to utilize a Cam Camper. But I think even more so inside the zone, he knows how to sit those routes down. Again, he knows how to set it up to get to the spot that he needs to get to on time. And he does have pretty good speed. He was clocked at 21.4 miles per hour, which isn't absolutely outstanding. I would say that's probably close to like mid 4.5s to like higher 4.4s. Again, very similar to a Cedric Tillman, but he also does a great job of making tough contested catches. He's a dog. And I think that he's averaging somewhere around 4.2 yards after the catch, which is really good. We talked about Carnell Tate. I want to say that he was at that exact same number. So very similar with all those things, but I might actually lean more towards for our team, right? For this season coming up, I might like a Cam Camper better than I would have liked a Carnell Tate. Again, just because I think that he's a little bit tougher with the way that he runs his routes, with the way that he catches the football and the way that he can make things happen after the catch. He's also a very good blocker. So I've seen him lined up on the outside. I've seen him lined up on the inside. And, I've seen him do a really good job, again, of just sitting things down whenever he needs to in critical situations on third downs, fourth downs, whatever it is. He is a quarterback's best friend. And Nico needs some more ballers like this who, he can trust to make these types of catches that, whether he's taking the top off of a defense, whether he's running some of those middle routes on digs that Tennessee loves to run, if it's a slant, if it's double moves, which is something else that I think Cam Camper does a phenomenal job with. I love him as a wide receiver. Now, the one thing that I will say is because he is an older player, probably wants to be one and done. I'm not sure how he's going to feel about coming into Tennessee's room with these other star wide receivers because Mike Matthews is going to start. Okay. I don't know if he's going to be outside or inside. I would anticipate it's probably going to be on one of the outside spots, but Cam Camper's going to have to come in and compete with time with a guy like Chris Brazzell, with a guy like Travis Smith, who I do feel like should be rotating in frequently within our system. But because he is versatile enough to play inside or outside, I think that that helps him out just to, kind of be like that extra piece coming off the bench. If we do have three starting wide receivers, we're talking about Brazzell, Matthews, and then Staley, then if he's okay with being that fourth guy, he's going to be in a great spot. And actually, our fourth wide receiver last season was Dante Thornton. He was our most productive wide receiver. So he won't get as many reps, I don't think, inside of that room. But if he buys in, I think that it could be perfect. Okay. It could be a match made in heaven for both parties because he will get plenty of opportunities and he'll be able to showcase all of his talents for the NFL. So just to recap off everything that we talked about today, Cam Camper is a bigger body, more of an outside wide receiver, but he's versatile enough to play inside as well. He's a veteran that's seen a lot of different coverages, a lot of different defenses. He's played in different climates. We know that that's going to be huge with playoff football these days because we may have to travel again to a very cold place. He's used to playing in, those sorts of elements and things like that, whether it's snow or whatever. It snows a whole lot up there in Boise, Idaho. So I think that he's perfect for this room. He can help groom some of those younger players. Maybe he can kind of help with some of the, I would say, quote unquote, veterans, because Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, you could call them veterans because this is their second year in our system, but really they're not true veterans just yet. So some of the savviness that we've seen with the route combinations and things like that he's run previously with two different programs could help them learn as well. And I also feel like, something that a lot of folks throw out with Tennessee is it feels like it takes wideouts 2 years to get acclimated to our system. But whenever I'm watching him, just the way that he can move in and out of all of his different breaks, the way that he knows how to sit things down, again, just that savviness, I feel like he could come in and be one of those players that contributes at a very high level in his first season with Tennessee to be a one and done guy, hopefully goes on to potentially be a first round draft pick. That would be beneficial for both parties, but we'll see what happens because we're still very early on in this process. I have no idea if Tennessee's actually targeting him, but if it was me, okay, if I'm Coach Heupel, if I'm Coach Pope, Coach Halsley, whoever, this is a player that I'm not going to want to pass up because he's just as good as any of the other wide receivers that we've passed up on before. Now, will we have enough NIL money to bring him in? I think that we should have enough, but what I've been hearing is that wide receivers are asking for a lot more money this season in the transfer portal than they were in previous years. But that's not going to stop in this window or in the next window. It's only going to go up. So I would say that the best thing for Tennessee would be let's go ahead and grab the guy that we like right here, right now. If the staff does like him, instead of waiting until that spring window when these guys know that we need them and they can really drive that price up a little bit higher. So I think that he would be a great addition to this team. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. And as always, please do make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. We'll see you all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.